Riyad As-Salihin, The Gardens of the Righteous, by Imam Nawawi, produced by Respect Graduate School. Chapter 45, Quranic Verses. First part of the Excellence of Ascetics. These verses from the Quran offer profound insights into the nature of worldly life and serve as a powerful reminder for believers to cultivate an ascetic perspective, focusing on the eternal rather than the temporary. The present worldly life is like this. We send down water from the sky, and the earth's vegetation, of which humans and animals eat, mingles with it until, when the earth has taken on her ornaments and has been embellished, and its inhabitants suppose that they are its masters, with a free hand over the earth, our command comes upon it by night or day unexpectedly, and we cause it to become like a field mown down, as if it had not flourished the previous day. Thus, we set out in detail the signs, the signposts of our way, and the relevant commands and guidance included in the Quran, for a people who reflect on them and draw the necessary lessons. Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 30. This verse paints a vivid picture of the transient beauty and sudden demise of worldly life, likening it to vegetation that flourishes and then withers away. It's a call to reflect on the fleeting nature of material possessions and earthly power. Know that the present worldly life is but a play. Vain talk and ostentation and mutual boasting among you, and competing in wealth and children, it is like when rain comes down and the vegetation grown by it pleases the farmers, but then it dries up and you see it turn yellow. Then it becomes straw. And in the hereafter, there is a severe punishment, but also there is forgiveness from Allah and His good pleasure, which are everlasting, whereas the present worldly life is but a transient enjoyment of delusion. Surah Al-Hadid, chapter 57, verse 20. Here, worldly life is characterized as mere play, vain talk, ostentation, boasting, and competition for wealth and children. It further emphasizes its ephemeral nature with the analogy of vegetation that pleases, but then inevitably decays. The verse contrasts this transient delusion with a severe punishment or everlasting forgiveness and good pleasure in the hereafter, urging a shift in priorities. Made innately appealing to men are passionate love for women, children, hoarded, treasures of gold and silver, branded horses, cattle, and plantations. Such are enjoyments of the present worldly life, yet with Allah is the best of the goals to pursue. Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 14. This verse acknowledges the natural human inclination towards various worldly attractions, like family, wealth, and possessions. However, it immediately reorients the perspective by stating that with Allah is the best of the goals to pursue, subtly encouraging detachment from excessive love for these temporary delights and a focus on what is eternal. Quranic Verses, second part of the Excellence of Ascetics. The present worldly life is nothing but a pastime and play, but the abode of the hereafter is truly alive. If they but knew. Surah Al-Ankabut, chapter 29, verse 64. This verse reiterates the concept of worldly life as merely a pastime and play, directly contrasting it with the truly alive abode of the hereafter. The phrase, if they but knew, implies a lament for those who remain heedless of this fundamental truth, urging a deeper understanding and appreciation of the afterlife. Rivalry and worldly increase, seeking and then boasting of the acquisition of things, wealth, pedigree, and posterity, distracts you from the proper purpose of life, until you come to the graves. No, indeed, you will surely come to understand it when death comes to you. Again, No, indeed. You will surely come to understand it. When you are raised from the dead. No, indeed. If only you knew with certainty of knowledge, then you would not disorder priorities. Surah At-Takathur, chapter 102, verses 1 to 4. This surah powerfully condemns the distraction caused by rivalry in worldly gains until one reaches the grave. The repeated, "No, indeed, you will surely come to understand it," serves as a stern warning and a promise of ultimate realization upon death and resurrection, emphasizing the misplacement of priorities due to worldly pursuits. O humankind, know well that Allah's promise of the Last Judgment is surely true, so do not let the present worldly life delude you, nor let any deluder, including especially Satan, delude you in your conceptions about Allah. Surah Fatir, chapter 35, verse 5. This verse delivers a direct admonition to humanity to remember that Allah's promise of the Last Judgment is true, and to beware of being deluded by worldly life or by any deceiver, particularly Satan, in their understanding of Allah and His commands. It underscores the importance of maintaining a clear focus on the ultimate reality and not being swayed by temporal allurements. These verses collectively guide believers toward asceticism, not as a renunciation of all worldly good, but as a balanced detachment that recognizes the temporary nature of this life and prioritizes the everlasting rewards of the hereafter. They encourage reflection, wisdom, and a proper ordering of priorities to achieve true success. Hadith number 239, narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Riqaq, 7, Sahih Muslim, Zuhd, 6. Amr ibn Auf al-Ansari, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, sent Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah to Bahrain to bring its jizya. He arrived with the money from Bahrain, and the Ansar heard of the arrival of Abu Ubaidah and appeared at the Fajr prayer with the Messenger of Allah. When the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, had prayed, he went to leave, and they presented themselves before him. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled when he saw them and said, "I think you must have heard that Abu Ubaidah has arrived with something from Bahrain?" They said, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." He said, "Rejoice and hope for what will gladden you. By Allah, it is not poverty that I fear for you, but I fear that this world will be spread out in front of you as it was spread out in front of those before you, and then you will vie for it as they vied for it, and it will destroy you as it destroyed them." Hadith number 240, narrated in Sahih Muslim, Dhikr, 99. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "This world is sweet and green, and Allah the Almighty has appointed you vice-regents in it. So pay attention to what you do. Be fearful of this world, and be fearful of the attraction of women." Hadith number 241, narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Riqaq, 42, Sahih Muslim, Zuhd, 3. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Three things follow a dead person: his family, his property, and his actions. Two of them go back and one remains. His family and property go back and his actions remain." Hadith number 242, narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Riqaq, 14, Sahih Muslim, Zakah, 12. Abu Dhar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "I was walking with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in the lava bed at Medina, and Uhud was looming there in front of us. He said, 'Abu Dhar.' I said, "At your service, O Messenger of Allah." He said, "It would not give me any pleasure if I had this uhud in gold and a dinar of it remained with me for more than 3 days, except for a dinar I would keep for paying debts. Rather, I would say that it is for so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so among the servants of Allah, indicating to his right and to his left and behind him." Then he began to say, "Those who have a lot in this world will have little on the day of rising, except for someone who spends his money here and there, to his right and to his left and behind him, and they are few." Then he said to me, "Stay where you are until I come back." Then he went off into the darkness of the night until he disappeared. I heard a voice raised, and I was afraid that someone meant to harm the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. I wanted to go, but then I remembered his words, "Do not go until I come back." So I did not go until he came back to me. And then I said, "I heard a voice and was alarmed by it, but I remembered what you said." He said, "Did you hear it?" I said, "Yes." He said, "That was Jibril, who came to me and said, 'Any one of your community who dies without associating anything with Allah will enter paradise.'" I said, "Even if he fornicates and even if he steals?" He said, "Even if he fornicates and even if he steals." Hadith number 243, narrated in Sahih Muslim Zuhd 9. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Look at those who are lower than you, and do not look at those who are higher than you. That is more likely to prevent you underestimating the blessing of Allah on you." These are the words of Muslim. In one variant, when one of you sees someone who has been given more bounty in respect of wealth or physical strength, he should then look at someone who has less than him. Hadith number 245, narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Riqaq. Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, took hold of my shoulders and said, 'Be in this world as if you were a stranger or a traveler on the road.'" Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, used to say, "In the evening, do not anticipate the morning, and in the morning, do not anticipate the evening. Take from your health for your illness, and from your life for your death." Hadith number 246, narrated in Sunan ibn Majah, Zuhd 1. Sal ibn Sa'd as-Sa'idi, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "A man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, 'O Messenger of Allah, show me an action for which Allah will love me, and for which people will love me if I do it.' He said, 'Do with little of this world, and Allah will love you, and do with little of what belongs to other people, and people will love you.'" Hadith number 247, narrated in Sahih Muslim Zuhd 36. An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, mentioned the things of this world that the people had acquired, and he said, 'One day I saw the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, sifting through some bad dates he had found in order to fill his belly.'" Hadith number 248, narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Riqaq 16, Sahih Muslim, Janaiz 44. Khabab ibn al-Arat, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "We emigrated with the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, seeking the face of Allah the Almighty, and our reward was in the hands of Allah. Some of us died without consuming any of their reward, and Musab ibn Umair was one of them. He was killed on the day of Uhud and left a cloak. When we covered his head, his feet showed, and when we covered his feet, his head showed. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, commanded us to cover his head and to put some idkhir herb on his feet. Some of us have picked the fruit of the reward, and some of us are still gathering it. Hadith number 249, narrated in Sunan at-Tirmidhi, Zurd 13. Sahal ibn Sa'd as-Sa'idi, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "If this world had been worth as much as a gnat's wing in the eyes of Allah, no unbeliever would have had a single drink of water from it." Hadith number 250, narrated in Sunan at-Tirmidhi, Zuhd 14. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "I heard the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, say, 'This world is cursed, and cursed is what is in it, except for the remembrance of Allah the Almighty, and what brings one near to Him, and the teacher and the student." Hadith number 251, narrated in Sunan Abu Dawud, Adab 169. Sunan at-Tirmidhi, Zuhd 25. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, passed by us when we were working on a hut we had. He said, 'What is this?' We said, 'It has become weak, and we are repairing it.' He said, 'I think that the matter is too urgent for that.'" Hadith number 252, narrated in Sahih Muslim Zuhd 3. Abdullah ibn ash-Shikhir, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "I came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he was reciting, 'Fierce competition for this world distracted you.' Surah At-Takathur, chapter 102, verse 1. He said, "The son of Adam says, 'My property, my property.' Son of Adam, have you any other property than what you eat, and thus gets used up, wear, and thus becomes worn out, and given sadaqah, and thus make effective?" Hadith number 243, narrated in Sahih Muslim Zuhd 9. Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Look at those who are lower than you, and do not look at those who are higher than you. That is more likely to prevent you underestimating the blessing of Allah on you." These are the words of Muslim. In one variant, when one of you sees someone who has been given more bounty in respect of wealth or physical strength, he should then look at someone who has less than him. Hadith number 254, narrated in Sunan at-Tirmidhi, Zud 44. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, slept on a straw mat, and when he got up, he had a mark on his side. We said, 'O Messenger of Allah, we could make a covering for you?' He said, 'What have I to do with this world? I am only in this world, like a rider who seeks shade under a tree," and then goes on.